Who here knows about the state bill that just, raise your hand if you've been following this at all. So basically what they were doing is they were trying to take this transit occupancy concept and implement it statewide.
Yeah. So, but I guess I can see the point. You don't necessarily want a high rise next to a bunch of single family homes. I mean, there's maybe needs to have some buffer zones or whatnot. So hopefully they'll rethink that and come back to us with something like that. But in the city of LA, there was a measure on the ballot about a year ago, Measure JJJ, which did pass and which implements, I guess, what you call it? It requires that the city provide more density around metro stations, but they did it in a way where you have to also provide an affordable housing component at even a higher percentage than the density bonus, which we were just talking about earlier. The density bonus, which is SB 1818, is a statewide measure, and so all cities have to comply to providing this density bonus. So if you provide, it's something like 11% of your project. If it's affordable, then they give you a bunch of additional, I think it's 35% additional units. So that's a statewide measure, and most cities, have their own flavor of that, but for the most part honor that. In the TOC, which stands for Transit-Oriented Communities, and allows for higher density. So in San Pedro, for example, our property is zoned like an R3 property, and it would allow 19 units by right. And with the Transit-Oriented Communities bill passing, we will be able to do 32 units. So it's a pretty significant number of increased units.
How many of those are low?
And those will be three
three
low-income restricted units.
So you got 13 extra units. With 3 low income, you got to produce 10 extra regular.
Yeah. So it's quite a large increase to the total unit count.